This gorgeous house.
Traffic was moving just fine there.
It looked fine.
Basically, this story is about a home getting a new home. It's not going very far. It's just going from San Luis to Laurel Circle and Lake in East Grand Rapids. But even though it's a short distance, it does not mean it's a small undertaking. Been to a newly constructed house recently? They're great, but it's clear they don't make them like they used to. They certainly don't make them like this one.
The house is built out of vitreous clay tile, whereas a normal house is built out of wooden studs.
There's some beautiful tile and woodwork details on the inside that, you know, to replace it now would be 3 times the cost.
The Grand Old Gal on San Luis was built in 1929 and was slated to be torn down when new owners purchased the lot. That's when neighbors stepped in and bought the place. They decided to move it. Not move in, but rather move the entire structure.
A job like this only comes around maybe once every 5 years.
As far as house moves go, this is minor. They're just doing a 180 and placing it on an adjacent lot. Think of it like moving a coffee table, a 580-ton coffee table.
That vitreous clay tile is actually quite fragile. The floors are quite fragile, so if anything was to twist on the building, you would create cracks in the structure.
Dietz movers from Muskegon and expert house movers from Maryland are doing the work. They say that it should really only take one afternoon. But the planning, well, that's another story.
And normally you're at it about a third of the time is spent just planning the move out so that you know that you don't have any problems.
So why this one? Well, let's be honest. It's an investment for the people involved, but it also has to do with preserving a bit of history.
The idea of homes being saved is actually kind of unusual these days. You know, historic buildings, this is what you would more apt to see done in Europe or someplace like that, where they have a closer affection for architecture.
No, it's not like we're saying we're Las Vegas here, where it's 10 years old, we're blowing it up.
Right.
But there aren't as many old homes like this anymore.
Not
so
at all.
It's nice to see that one sticking around, and it should go on the market in the spring.
Okay.
And Jim, the architect, says there's already been a few nibbles of people who are interested in it already.
Well, we saw some photos of it inside, so we'll try to get those on Facebook, because it is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place, about 5,000 square feet, and you were playing along here saying that's going to crack. It's going to crack.
Yes, it's nerve-wracking.
Did you ever think about becoming a mover at any point? A home mover?
No.
Well, you could. You got the skills for it. Christian, you just heard Wanda say the name Cecil there, and as we said, the story of Amanda goes back 8 years to 2004 when the body of the 13-year-old was found in the Manistee National Forest. The little girl was from Florida and was only in Michigan to attend her grandmother's funeral. She was staying near White Cloud at the home of Cecil Wallace Sr. at the time. Police say Amanda knew another girl who lived there and stayed at least one day, maybe more, before going missing. 2 weeks later, her body was discovered in the Manistee National Forest, about 7 miles from the house. She was dead of blunt force trauma to the head, and authorities think she was killed somewhere else and her body dumped there. A small community mourned, fundraisers were held to pay for funeral costs, and tips poured in. But for years, nothing on a suspect. No arrests were ever made in the case, and only a person of interest identified as rumors swirled in the area. That person was Cecil Wallace. Last October, he was arrested on charges that he sexually assaulted 2 teenage girls between 1998 and 2002. A court date was set for a few weeks later in November, but Wallace never showed up. On the day he was supposed to appear, he was found dead of an apparent suicide in a remote area of Goodwell Township. With his death, Christian, people wondered, is this case done? Will it go even colder than it was? Right. But as Wanda said there, he's gone. The family suspects him. They'll never know the full truth, but it's good to know, I guess, that the police never gave up investigating, even though the story kind of went out of the public's frame of mind for quite a few years there.
We'll see what happens with the case. Thanks a lot, Tim.